Preface of the Song Celestial or Bhagavad-Gita. This is a Librivox recording. All Librivox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Jyoti Taravanat. The Song Celestial or Bhagavad-Gita, translated by Sir Edwin Arnold. To India. So have I read this wonderful and spirit-thrilling speech by Krishna and Prince Arjun, held discoursing each with each. So have I writ its wisdom here, its hidden mystery. For England, O our India, as dear to me as she. Edwin Arnold. Preface. This famous and marvelous Sanskrit poem occurs as an episode of the Mahabharata, in the 6th or Bhishma Parva of the great Hindu epic. It enjoys immense popularity and authority in India, where it is reckoned as one of the 5 jewels, Pancharatni, of Devanagari literature. In plain but noble language, it unfolds a philosophical system which remains to this day the prevailing Brahmanic belief, blending as it does the doctrines of Kapila, Patanjali, and the Vedas. So lofty are many of its declarations, so sublime its aspirations, so pure and tender its piety, that Schlegel, after his study of the poem, breaks forth into this outburst of delight and praise towards its unknown author. Magistrorum reverentia brachimanisi interesancatissima, pietatis afficere fertur ergote primuma, vatisi sangatissime numinisco faefeta, quisquis tandem inter mortales, dictus tu fioris carminis buius octoro, cuius oraculis mens ad excelsa quaque aeterna quo divina Cumeninaraua, cudam delectonte rapitere primum in quam salvere ubeo e vestigia thorsam peradore. Lawson re-echoes this splendid tribute, and indeed, so striking are some of the moralities here inculcated, and so does the parallelism, ofttimes actually verbal, between its teaching and those of the New Testament, that a controversy has arisen between pundits and missionaries on the point whether the author borrowed from Christian sources or the evangelists and apostles from him. This raises the question of its date, which cannot be positively settled. It must have been inlaid into the ancient epic at a period later than that of the original Mahabharata. But Mr. Kashinath Telang has offered some fair arguments to prove it anterior to the Christian era. The weight of evidence, however, tends to place its composition at about the 3rd century after Christ, and perhaps there are really echoes in this Brahmanic poem of the lessons of Galilee and of the Syrian incarnation. Its scene is the level country between the Yamuna and the Saraswati rivers, now Kurnool and Jind. Its simple plot consists of a dialogue held by Prince Arjuna, the brother of King Yudhishthira, with Krishna, the supreme deity, wearing the disguise of the charioteer. A great battle is impending between the armies of Kauravas and Pandavas, and this conversation is maintained in a war chariot drawn up between the opposing hosts. The poem has been turned into French by Bonoff, into Latin by Lasson, into Italian by Stanislaw Gatti, into Greek by Galanos, and into English by Mr. Thompson and Mr. Davis, the prose transcript of the last named being truly beyond praise for its fidelity and clearness. Mr. Telang has also published at Bombay a version of its colloquial rhythm, eminently learned and intelligent, but not conveying the dignity or grace of the original. If I venture to offer a translation of the wonderful poem after so many superior scholars, it is in grateful recognition of the help derived from their labors, and because English literature would certainly be incomplete without possessing, in popular form, a poetical and philosophical work so dear to India. There is little else to say which the Song Celestial does not explain for itself. The Sanskrit original is written in the Anustubh meter, which cannot be successfully reproduced for Western ears. I have therefore cast it into our flexible blank verse, changing into lyrical measures where the text itself similarly breaks. For the most part, I believe the sense to be faithfully preserved in the following pages. But Schlegel himself had to say, "Ire conditiare bus mesam per poiuta fosta, mentim recte divinasse firmare nausema." Those who would read more upon the philosophy of the poem may find an admirable introduction in the volume of Mr. Davis, printed by Messrs. Turbner and Co. Edwin Arnold, CSI. End of Preface. Recording by Jyoti Taravanat.